what I think was irresponsible about Hasan's coverage of this particular young man is, there's one part that really stuck out to me. Is this kid was talking about how, the Houthis had taken over the ship, and it was like a Chinese vessel, and the way he described it was like, oh, you know what? Like they were like chewing what do you call it? What's it called? That drug?
Yeah.
They were chewing. I mean, they were having a good time. They were chewing cot, and they were just like talking about how much America sucks, and like they got along really well with the Houthis. That to me is kind of insane, because when I look at that situation from a neutral perspective, what I'm hearing described is the Houthis took over a ship and then forced a bunch of Chinese.
On both completely unrelated to Israel, but do you know what their talking point is for that? They have a talking point. They have a talking point. Their talking point for that is the company is owned by someone who is Israeli or something. All right, who has an Israeli friend or something along the lines. That's how ridiculous it was. Even though nobody on the ship is Israeli, nobody. The destination and the port it's coming out of, the destination nor the place it's coming out of is Israeli. So instead, they have to tie it all the way to the CEO of the company. When you try to find whether or not a CEO or a boss of a company is Israeli or not, that is one step away from, that is literally one step away from a Jewish conspiracy kind of thing, where you're trying to find which CEOs and which kings and which like politicians are like Jewish. Okay, that's one step away from a Jewish conspiracy theory, literally.
These people to do drugs with them.
So yeah, it is kind of
okay. And the way that it got presented was like, oh, they were just like, kicking a few beers back and having a good time. And I'm sure those Chinese people were fucking horrified the whole time. Imagine being forced to take a stimulant drug when your adrenaline is already coursing, and you're like, I don't know if these people are gonna
cares
or what. Like that's
also, everybody talks about like the presence of Jews everywhere, but nobody ever talks about the presence of redheads everywhere, or the presence of Asian people. Like there's at least one Asian person on every board, or the presence of like, or the presence of like white people like no one talks about any other ethnicity that is like everywhere. Okay, literally
sounds like a really bad.
Yeah, or Irish people, or fucking like French, Germans, everywhere. No one talks about that
situation. And the way that this kid described it was so flowery, and Hasan was like, "What? No way! That's great, bro."
The problem is that never happened. That was just a viral video that the guy was making a joke about, and it was lost in translation.
I think it's crazy for Hasan to be like, "Yo, that's crazy. That's so funny." They were just talking shit about.
He went on a whole thing about how crazy it was that they drugged these crew members. I'm just saying it was a viral video. It was a joke that the kid made. It was lost in translation.
A
joke? Again, like
regardless, I mean,
but at the end of the day, the kid is not in Ansar Allah. He's not in the Houthis.
I mean, he said he was.
Terrorist is ridiculous.
He said he
was.
He said
a martini, shaken, not stirred.
Zach, thank you so much for $10. Very, 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 very kind. Okay, my audience is addicted to yellow donations specifically. Okay, every single super chat I get is like yellow, $10. Piss. Okay, we call it pisco donations. Piss colored. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. $10. I appreciate it. He just had access to a ship they hijacked for no reason, Lamau. And it doesn't even matter if he's lying or playing it up, right? He's doing propaganda work, right? Like
he said he was a fighter. He said he was a Houthi. That's what he said. I mean, are you saying he's lying?
He said. Okay, so here's the problem.
Wait, there's no. I'm not talking about the weight room. Okay, whatever. I'm talking about like just arguing in the server. There's no need. Okay, listen. I'm in the middle of a segment right now. Okay, chill.
Accuse me of only seeing little clips.
No, I saw the clip of him saying. I saw the clip of him identifying himself as a fighter. That's what I saw that clip.
No,
unless you're saying it was like mistranslated, but
yeah. Did you see? First, yes. Did you see the numerous times, not only in the interview with Hasan, but numerous times being questioned, doing interviews? He said he's not an Ansar Allah. He doesn't even live in the area where are from.
Wait, hold on.
I don't even think he's Shia.
Now I think I'm not qualified to get into that. I've heard people have issues with that logic as well, but Now I'm
Oh,
curious
no.
because I feel like
those people are just desperate
now
to say he's a part of Ansar Allah.
now. Wait, hold on. But now I'm curious. Okay, if he actually was like a Houthi member, do you think that would have been bad? You seem to be you really want to avoid the possibility
Yeah,
that
it's
he
just a
was
joke
one.
to
So
you.
it seems like
No, I don't think
do you
it would be bad. No, but what I do think is,
well, you're kind of talking like that.
I think the nature of the discussion would have been different, and that's my personal belief. That if he was actually a member of Ansar Allah,
Really?
then you ask different questions.
It's just
sure
funny
about
because
that, buddy?
you know when
Social media.
I mean
So how
it's
can
just
you ask him
it's just
about.
well, what did Hasan
that he
expect?
doesn't know about?
What did Hasan expect was going to happen? His whole like marketing for his stream that day was like, I'm interviewing the
It was on the
Houthi
fly.
team.
He arranged the interview.
Well, he
on the
marketed it.
fly. So
Well,
you
he
can be
marketed
liberal
it.
about this.
He marketed it as
I
an
love
interview
Break.
with a Houthi
Oh,
member.
no. It's over,
Yeah, you can
guys.
call it marketed it, but basically
He did. That's what it was.
Houthi Chalamet. He was going viral. Hassan wanted to get an interview. He thought,
And then he caught a bunch of flack for it, and then he tried to distance himself from it by saying, "Oh, well, I actually wasn't a Houthi guy."
No. That's
Yeah, he did. I mean, of course he did. Yes.
No, again, so you're the one watching little clips. So what happened was, he thought he's a Houthi. He starts talking to him. He asks him, "Are you a Houthi? Are you in Ansar Allah?" He says, "No." Okay, then from then on, there's no more questions about him being a Houthi or assuming he's involved in the Houthis.
Well, when there's other clips of him and social media posts of him identifying as such, then I don't,
No, it's
he's either
these are
lying or
people-
you're.
No, he's
Yeah.
not. It's issues with translation. This guy speaks Arabic. Numerous times he has said, but you've ignored those clips. Numerous times he has said he's not in the Houthis. And listen, the Houthis are not hiding in caves. Okay, they're not a small little secret group. There's hundreds of thousands of members of Ansar Allah.
Do you like the Houthis? Do you think that they're like based and correct and good?
The only thing specifically that I approve of is blocking shipping through the Red Sea to apply economic pressure to Israel to act as one of many pressure points.
And what
to
about the
bring
rest
about the
of
end
their
genocide in
okay? But
Gaza.
all right, what about like their stated
Like
goal?
their domestic
Lightning
policy? Do I like their illiberal politics? No.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm able to put those aside. Just like I wouldn't have liked Jim Crow and lynching black people and putting Japanese Americans in concentration camps, but that wouldn't have stopped me from saying the American troops have a right to fight the Nazis. I'm able to show nuance. I feel like your crowd doesn't want to show
This
any
guy
nuance
nuance.
when it comes to Arabs or Muslims.
No, I brought
American adversary.
no my guiding underlying foundational principle is I don't think any military force or government should target civilians, kidnap them, hold them hostage, whatever.
In Lebanon, you were more like,
Yeah, so they're fine with making shipping longer. Yes. If you are here to if you held the ship hostage in such a way to delay my Japanese made Asian streetwear clothing, okay? I will end your existence and condemn your entire family to 10,000 years of solitude, okay?
maybe. Came to hospital, was like, sometimes, who knows? But when it comes to blockading
What?
shipping through the Red Sea, which
What?
is
What?
not even come close to that kind of bloodshed.
What did I say about Lebanon?
You said, I have mixed feelings. I don't know. That's what you said. The pager attack.
I'm talking about deliberately targeting civilians is my foundational principle here, and I'm consistent in that. And I feel like you guys, no, that you're not understanding that there is a difference between collateral damage in a targeted attack and targeting civilians. These are two very different things.
These were non-combatants. These were civilians that they...
Okay, well, I mean, Hezbollah themselves are saying that there were 1,500 fighters that were injured, so I don't know what to tell you.
The non-combatants plus civilians, plus children.
I understand.
If you bomb a hospital, you kill civilians.
I don't know. I feel like you guys are just... Your brain just gets like so zapped, and you don't understand like the concept of delineating.
Targeted American. Okay, fine. Then let's separate out the strikes that the Houthis have launched, which only targeted American military vessels. So those you approve of. And Hezbollah strikes on military bases, Israeli military bases. You approve of those. Hamas strikes on
within the
Israeli
confines of
military
like
bases,
international law, then yeah, that's fair game, right? Like if you're attacking a military installation, of course, like
Yeah,
you know,
of
I
course.
cannot support the Houthis as an organization, but if they're abiding by international law, I'm not going to call them like war criminals for attacking you know, an Israeli military installation or something like that. Like if Hamas had only attacked military installations on October 7th, we would not be having this conversation right now.
Well, that's a good thing. If that's true, that's a good thing.
That's
I have a hard time believing that if Hamas
war.
had
That's
only
just war.
Attacked Israeli military bases, that you would be supporting them. But
It's not that I'd be supporting them, but I wouldn't accuse them of like doing war crimes, you know? Like I don't support every side of every conflict, you know, but that doesn't mean that there's a difference between somebody who's like doing war within the parameters of the Geneva Conventions and international law and people doing terrorism. That there's a difference between these.
Okay. So let's say a partisan, a band of partisans blow up a supply line, derail a train to fight back against the Nazis. Are you going to call them terrorists? And like,
If it was coming from a Nazi location, or if it was going to a Nazi location, or it had like a high-ranking Nazi officer, it's kind of based. Yeah, if it's a military supply train, that's kind of based, dude. Yeah, it is. But what are we talking about here, right? What are we talking about here? It's like it's like you derailed like a random ass fucking train in like Southeastern Asia during World War II and said, "Well, you don't understand. I'm doing resistance against the Nazis." Like, what are you talking about here?
staunchly come out against it.
Just saying Nazis.
Were they targeting the train just to hit civilians, or were they targeting the train because there was munitions on board and you know, that sort of thing?
They want to block shipping. They want to block the shipping.
It's hard. I feel like it's like really tricky to do these comparisons to a time that preceded the Geneva Conventions.
You know why it's tricky?
Tricky because we have a different set of, like, we've signed treaties and
because it's us versus our enemies. It's
do you think I'm like this like super hyper nationalist like jingoist American supporter? Is that what you think about me?
I think it's just
because you don't know anything about me.
I think it's boilerplate for Americans and people in the West to have these inherent biases.
Dude,
they just grow up with them. They don't question them.
Okay, listen. It was 20 years ago. I was in college, like studying about American atrocities committed in wars. I know full well that our own history with war, and of course I became an adult right when the second Iraq war kicked off. And I was heavily steeped in that every single day. I was obsessed with that war, much in the same way I think you guys focus a lot on Gaza. I thought about it every day, all day, all day. I am fully aware that America has like blood on its hands. I'm not this. You seem to have this notion that I have an instinct to like defend America or like Western powers because of this bias. And I'm telling you, like I've
We shall get your Spurska proxy Nazi in here. Wait, do you have like personal tie-in? Do you have like personal tie-in with the issue? Are you like a Kosovian?
known for longer than you have for sure that we're not. We're
the last time I've seen someone
we're capable through Iraq.
I am Croatian ethnically. Wintermute thinks Croatians are genociders. He hates them. He thinks that they are the scum of the earth. He wants them dead. He wants them all dead. Okay? Including you. Alright? Get ready. Okay? Get ready. It will be a bloodbath. It will be a reimagining of the Bosnian War. Okay?
Right, but you were 10, you know what I mean? Like, were you really like reading Noam Chomsky books at 10 or whatever? Like, I am fully aware that the history of American conflict or whatever is not just like, oh, America good, we did everything correct.
and then we can have, oh my god, I'm like collecting Pokemon cards I'm trying to collect all the Slavic state viewers, okay? Alloy is Belarusian, okay? It's perfect. Okay, I'm like collecting different, I'm like collecting, okay?
Correctly. Like, you don't have to
I'm
convince me. I don't have this like
Slavs,
bias.
okay? I'm
Like,
collecting
I just
all the Slavs.
I don't doubt that. I don't
Okay.
doubt that. But
All right.
what I would like you to do,
great.
what I would like you to do is not pile onto these ridiculous racist bandwagons where you're going to call Rashid a terrorist. You're going to call Hasan a terrorist supporter.
I've never called Rashid Tlaib a terrorist. What the fuck are you talking about?
Rashid from Yemen. Rashid from Yemen, the kid from Yemen.
I don't know. Like, listen, I've seen clips of him saying,
By Hitler, we will have the siege of Stalingrad again, okay? By Tito, we will have the siege of Sarajevo again, okay?
he was a Houthi. I don't know what he's done. I wouldn't call, listen, I would not call, I don't know if I've ever called him a terrorist. I don't know if I've ever called him a terrorist.
Well, you don't know. You don't know.
I don't think I have. That's the point. Like, I don't,
And show some charitability. There's a reason why when these people, okay, across the Middle East, all right, millions of Arabs and Muslims have been starved, tortured, okay? So when they support something that's extremely bloodless, relatively speaking, like a blockade of shipping through the Red Sea, okay? To treat the people who support that like they've got to be insane, radicalized extremists. It's not that insane to block shipping. It's one of the most mild actions they could take.
Well,
okay?
I just don't understand. I mean, I don't know if you can, I don't,
everybody's an extremist.
I don't, because I don't understand this.
To the same place.
Your ability to, are you saying that the Houthis are not extremists?
I don't use the word extremist.
Why not?
It's a bullshit word.
What do you mean it's a bullshit word?
It's a bullshit word like terrorist. They only use the word extremist and terrorist to talk about American adversaries, especially Muslims, Arabs.
I'm not talking about media framing. Look, dude, I am well aware of the fact.
I don't use those words typically. I would never use the word terrorist unless I was.
Dude, even Serbia is chill nowadays. Like people have this like. I think people just really want like the old days of endless war and suffering to come back, because there's no other like fucking like explanation for people's lust for war. Okay, I think people are just bored. I think that's what's going on. All right, people just don't like all this international trading that we do. People just want the old days of like conquering land and having old grudges to come back, just because people have too much time on their hands. Okay, I think people just literally just, you know. Like right now the Serbs, like right now Serbia, do you know what they're doing? They're trying to get their current president out right now because he's like, I don't know, he's like a cringe lord. Okay, that's why. Okay, the current president is like kills other Serbs like because he's corrupt. He's a corrupt politician, so they want him out. Like that's the current Serbia drama right now. Okay, like we're not talking about like taking back Kosovo. We're not talking about taking back Kosovo. We're not talking about like you know, reclaiming Yugoslavia. Okay, except for like edgy youth people online who you know, like whatever the fuck, right? We're talking about like just internal politics. Like they're not even committing genocide at the moment, okay, from what we know of, at the very least, you know? Like, fuck. Like, what are we doing here? Anyway. Serbs are pretty mental quite often. They definitely have more far-right popularity than other former... Yeah, no kidding. Of course.
Forced into a situation where I have to confront the fact that somebody's going to call, I don't know, Hamas terrorists, and then I'll say, well, then, in that case, then the IDF are terrorists. Then I'll...
But like relatively speaking, compared to Milosevic and like compared to the ICC trials, like what happened there, and compared to like all the things that are discussed like during like, yeah, I mean, fuck, I'll take far right over fucking genociding Bosniaks. Like, fuck it.
Use the word to say
far right over
you have a double standard. Okay, if you're going to use the word terrorist, then apply it across the board. Apply to everybody it can possibly apply to. The problem is, it's only ever applied.
I would call IDF terrorists, just for the record. I would call them terrorists.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, I don't. Number one, I don't think you usually do. I think you usually refer to Houthis as terrorists, like it's second nature, and then IDF.
Well, the Houthis are just, I mean, as bad as IDF has been, I would
terrorists.
Well, the Houthis are more extremists than IDF, generally
They're
speaking.
more extremists. What?
Yeah, in terms of their ideology, yes.
No, he's right.
They're more,
He's right.
okay, so the ideology in the IDF, exterminate Amalek. That's not extreme.
No, that would be a case of extremism for sure. But like, let me just hold on. Let me just ask you a question. Let me just wait. Hold on.
It's there. It's
Let me just
You have
okay.
that bias, and it
Well,
comes
let
out.
me illustrate my point. Okay. Entertain this thought experiment with me. I know you're going to have an instinct to deflect, but I really want you to critically engage with it in an honest way. Okay.
If I have to point out a double standard, then I will.
Then fine. But if you want to do that, that's fine. I just want you to answer this question regardless. Okay.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And obviously, you know, that much to talk about Erdogan, maybe Poland, maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not too much caught up, obviously. But, I think the only country that has justifiable, like, you need to have justifiable far-right uprisings is, like, Ukraine. Okay, fuck it. Like, fuck it, okay? I think Ukraine is justified in being a little bit... You know, we practice a little bit Russian racism, okay? Fuck it. Be a little racist against Russians, okay? Why not? Like it's actually surprising how, you know, Ukrainians don't want, like, the Russians genocided after what happened, you know?
Let's say that the dynamics were totally switched. Okay. Let's say that do you want to focus on Hamas or Houthis? Let's just do Hamas. Okay.
Okay, let's do Hamas.
If you gave Hamas the military, the weaponry, the infrastructure that Israel currently has, and if you put Israel in the same exact position as
Kiwi, Wintermute is in general chat right now. He's asking what your position is. Good luck.
As Palestinians in Gaza, how do you think that would play out?
Okay, you want my honest answer?
Yeah, I do.
I think that we would probably have two states by now. I think most likely if there was a balance of force, that would have
No. But that's not the question. We're not talking about a balance of force. I'm saying give Hamas all of Israel's weapons and military infrastructure, and take all that away from Israel. And then now Hamas is doing like a blockade against Israel or whatever. Like in that situation,
genociding Israel. That's what you're saying?
No. What do you think it would look like though? Like over the course of a month, 6 months. What do you think? What do you think would happen though?
Save tomfoolery.
It's a counterfactual. Like if I say I think that there would be a single state and everybody would be coexisting, you'll say that's ridiculous. If you say they would kill every last Jew, then I would say that's ridiculous, and we're never going to resolve it because it's a counterfactual. We're not going to agree.
What
so you can have someone like. Do you think Hamas themselves are lying? So like you can have someone like the spokesperson.
Hamas already said they would.
Wait, hold on. You can have the literal spokesperson for Hamas get in front of a camera and say, we are going to do October 7th again and again until Israel no longer exists. Do you think they're lying, or do you think that's just like extreme rhetoric? Or
it would take a hell of a lot of October 7th to eliminate the entire population.
No, but now imagine if they had it. No, but now imagine if they had Israel's military infrastructure.
No, so here's what I think. If you want to actually pay attention to what Hamas says instead of just going off of memory TV.
I've looked into this quite a bit. And
I don't think you have.
Oh, I have. I've done it on stream.
Already expressed that if the Palestinian people want two states, that they will accept it. They will go along with it. They have.
I understand that's what they've said.
If there's a ceasefire, they also said that if there's a ceasefire in Gaza and an end to the occupation, they will disarm and dissolve.
Okay.
Yeah, who believes that?
So, you know, the occupation is illegal. It should end. Then, if you abide by international law, you withdraw from Gaza and the West Bank, which is what.
No, but you've avoided the question.
Requires.
You have avoided the question.
No, I didn't. I answered the question. I said
no. You have not.
That's the answer. I'm not a genie.
You don't, but there's no part of you that maybe suspects that they might, kill and expel every Jew from.
No, personally, but you're not going to accept it.
Why would you?
Personally,
no.
it's crazy.
I mean, why would you think that though? Why would you think that?
I don't think that they would genocide every Jew. I don't know what to say. What do you want me to say?
When they. So are they lying?
They have said that they will disarm and dissolve themselves if the occupation ends.
Okay, I don't know what that means in the context of like.
If you look at
I don't know what that.
Hamas charter, even the old Hamas charter says
is too hard.
Once the
This guy's too hard.
land of Palestine is unified, then Muslims, Jews, and Christians can coexist peacefully. Now you can say
Through Islamic law, Jewish people would be second-class citizens, obviously, within that structure, and it's obvious bullshit. It's just obvious bullshit.
Okay, firstly, it's not obvious.
Yes, it is. Of course, it is.
Every political entity is different, is distinct, and it's dependent on the time it's created and the political forces that act upon it. And also, yes, you can say it's bullshit. But the problem with this discussion is everybody listening to you right now, they're going to say, obviously, Hutch is right. These barbaric Hamas Jew-hating
it's not racist. This is not racist. It has nothing.
Jew in Israel.
This is not like a.
Obviously, Hutch is right. There is nothing I can say because it's a counterfactual. It does not exist within.
Kiwi, talk about Kosovo. Talk about the Croats and the Serbs. Okay. Get ready. Okay. You about to get.
Any framework where we can come to an objective answer.
If you were a Jewish person in Israel, if you were a Jewish, let me try to get you to empathize, okay?
It won't matter.
Let me try to get you to empathize here. If you were a Jewish person, I can't speak. If you were a Jewish person in Israel, do you think that do you think that the fear would be rational if they were concerned about the way that they would be treated under a one-state solution with Hamas in charge of government? Do you think that they would have a rational concern about that?
I'm so glad that Slavs just fight over like oh my god, it's like when you're born in a village like 30 miles away, and that really determines whether or not you want to keep the one place named Bing Bong Ding Dong and have it be like ethnically one like skin tone whiter than the other. All right, like that is ultimately the hatred between all the fucking Slavs. All right, is like you were born in the village of a Gratushta, and then and then the other dude who was born in the village, and you guys hate each other because you guys were born like 30 miles away. Okay, fuck.
So part of the problem with the question is, do I think like the average Israeli?
I'm trying to get what are we doing here? I mean, we're having a conversation about like a critical.
Israeli wants every Arab ethnically cleansed.
Huh?
They think they're Amalek. So if I'm a Jew in Israel, I think Amalek.
No, I'm asking you, do you think they have a rational fear after the last
Amalek? No. Do I want to be ruled over by Amalek if I'm a Jew in Israel?
No, I'm saying rational. I'm not talking about like.
What are we watching? Is this from earlier? Yes, they are still going for some reason. It's like an hour now. Dude, I think we need to save this for tomorrow. Not gonna lie, it's getting kind of late. I'm so glad that my two fellow Slavs, okay, who's just their names is V, okay, V, and the other person is named like fucking fuck, what's another fucking classic. Fucking, I'm so glad that Bogdan and Alexander, okay, who has been born in two separate villages named Jovan and Katerina, are having a fight over each other over whether or not Andrev, like a fucking Andrej, like belongs to the Serbs or belongs to like everyone else. It's great.
Like some kind of racist rhetoric.
Then
is it a rational fear?
Okay. So let me tell you something. There are anti-Zionists in Israel who believe in a one-state solution.
Okay. Can we circle back around to my question, though? Like, do you think...
So why can't I be one of them? Why can't I be one of them? They exist.
You could be. Sure, fine. That's great.
Flags up on the walls.
Do you think that I'm trying to get you to engage with the idea that a Jewish person living in Israel has every right to be concerned about the prospect of living under a single state with Hamas in charge of the government and military, and you're like, oh, that's just because they're racist and they think that Arabs are barbarians. I'm asking you, do you think they have a rational fear after all the 75 years of history that they would not be welcome?
You can't divorce racism from the conversation. Okay, did South African whites want to be ruled over by black South Africans? No. Did white slavers feel safe about the idea of freeing the slaves? No. Okay, what am I supposed to say?
Okay,
I would like.
I'm going to keep asking the question. I'm going to keep. You can do the little rant, but I'm going to ask the question again, and I want you to answer the question.
But am I me?
Only it's going to be very good content. Wintermute isn't disagreeing with me. Well, he's a tinky. Wintermute is a tinky. He thinks that Stalin was a good guy. He's pro Stalin. Okay, he loves Stalin. All right. Yeah.
Who am I? Do
you think it's justified?
I would be an anti-Zionist Jew in Israel. That's who I'd be.
And you would be completely comfortable with Hamas taking over all of the military, all the munitions, all the government power, and you would be optimistic.
Look, listen, all right, radical Kiwi, okay, my fellow Croatian friend, listen, okay. You are never able to talk to Destiny, no problem, okay, my friend, okay? I'm never able to talk to Destiny again, okay? He blocked me on Discord because on the day that all that shit, the day that all that shit went down, okay, the fucking sex leak scandal went down and everything went to the surface. I'll tell you this right now, okay? I asked him, I was like, did you actually do these sex leaks? And he's like, blocks me. It's great.
About the future in that scenario?
Firstly, I think it's highly unlikely that in such
That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. How likely it is.